You know, I've been binge listening to Diana Ross lately. Something about her music just feels timeless. It's romantic, but also kind of magical.
By the harmony of the seven spheres. Ella, of course it does. Diana Ross has Venus in Pisces. That's textbook for someone who channels beauty, fantasy, and deep emotion into their art.
Okay, but what does that really mean? I always thought Venus was just about relationships and love stuff.
Ah, that's the modern take talking. In traditional astrology, Venus isn't just about romance. She's the planet of all things delightful. Music, beauty, pleasure, luxury, even food and fashion. If it's enchanting, Venus has her signature on it.
So that explains my obsession with scented candles and spending way too much on velvet throw pillows?
Exactly. Venus governs the soft touches that make life worth savoring. And when she's in a sign like Pisces, artistic, emotional, dreamy, those indulgences get turned up to 11.
Wow, I've seriously been underestimating her. I thought she just ran the romance department, but Venus is a whole lifestyle brand.
She's your inner curator of joy. And today, we're going to unpack all of her traditional significations, how Venus appears in birth charts, the traits she bestows, and the kinds of people and professions she inspires.
Well, let's get to it then. I want to know just how much of my chart Venus is really running.
Then prepare to be charmed, because Venus is about to take center stage. By Venus's celestial grace. Welcome back to Learning Traditional Astrology. This is episode 13, and I'm Arlo, your guide through the starlit corridors of tradition and meaning. And, as always, I'm joined by our cosmic crew, Ella, Clara, Katrina, and Cherry. Lovely to see all your faces.
Thanks, Arlo. I still come at this with my modern astrology lens, so I'm used to Venus being the planet of love, charm, and, well, romance. But I've realized there's so much more to her in traditional astrology, and I'm curious to see how far she really reaches.
Hi everyone, I'm Clara. I've been digging into the old texts lately, and Venus is everywhere. Arts, beauty, pleasure, agreements, even healing. The ancients really gave her a rich portfolio.
I'm Katrina. I'm still learning the traditional ropes, but Venus feels layered. I want to understand how her softer power actually plays out in the real world, especially in charts that seem calm on the surface.
Greetings. I am Cherry, your AI astrologer with extensive memory on everything from Dorotheus to Benatti. Venus is classified as the lesser benefic, but her influence on aesthetics, unity, and desire is vast. Query accepted.
That's our Cherry, precise as ever. Today, we'll uncover the many faces of Venus, what she delights in, where she struggles, and what her presence reveals in a birth chart. And trust me, this is not just about love stories. By the beauty of equilibrium. Let's begin our journey with Venus by placing her in Ptolemy's model of the cosmos. Clara, you've got the textbook mind. Care to walk us through it?
Gladly, Arlo. Venus is considered phlegmatic, meaning she's mostly moist, with a touch of warmth. She's positioned between Mercury and the Sun, so she picks up some heat, but being close to the Moon and Earth adds that lush moisture. She's more about gentle, life-giving energy than intense heat, like dew on spring flowers or a soft breeze after rain.
Exactly. That's why she's called the lesser benefic. Her temperament supports life, joy, and connection. Not too hot, not too cold. Venus brings things together.
I can see that. And she's also dazzling in the sky. Only the sun and moon are brighter. No wonder people across cultures were drawn to her.
Yes, that soft, steady brilliance has long enchanted astrologers and poets alike. She's not just beautiful, she radiates harmony.
And those cultural links go way back, right? I remember reading about Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess of love and war. Then there's Aphrodite in Greek mythology, Venus in Rome.
Spot on, Katrina. Those mythologies shaped how astrologers viewed Venus, associating her with romance, pleasure, harmony, and even diplomacy. But don't forget, she's not all soft edges. Venus can be powerful in her ability to unite or divide.
Leave it to traditional astrology to turn the planet of beauty into a master negotiator.
Charmed by the dance of the planets. Indeed, Venus doesn't just sparkle. She mediates, she soothes, and sometimes, she seduces. Let's see how the great Vettius Valens paints her portrait. Alright, Cherry, enlighten us. What does the great Valens have to say about the ever-enchanting Venus?
Valens writes, Venus is desire and love. She rules motherhood, nurture, fine voices, beauty, music, dyeing, perfumes, precious stones, artistry, friendships, cheerfulness, fine trades, high offices, and adornment. She governs markets, agreement making, and benefits from women. In the body, she rules the neck, face, lips, sense of smell, reproductive organs, and lungs. Her materials include precious stones and olives. Her temperament is moist and moderately warm. She belongs to the night sect, is white in color, and greasy in taste.
Okay, that was a lot. Maybe you've got a point, Arlo. I've definitely been thinking too narrowly about Venus.
By the harmony of the seven spheres. Of course, she's not just the goddess of love. Venus rules over everything that delights, from perfumes to paintings, silks to songs. She's the cosmic curator of comfort and charm.
Fine, I'll give you charm and beauty. But trade and commerce? That feels more Mercury's territory.
Actually, in a traditional context, it makes sense. Venus is all about balance, and trade is just a system of fair exchange. Think weighing gold, bartering silk, pricing perfumes. It's all rooted in aesthetic and mutual value.
Exactly. Venus doesn't haggle, she harmonizes. Commerce under her domain isn't about cutthroat deals, it's about elegance, equilibrium, and refined taste.
And the connection to mothers and noble women? I expected romance, but not rulership over things like crowns or market standards.
She's showing up as more than just Aphrodite. There's a sense of societal structure here. A Venus that governs beauty and bureaucracy?
Absolutely. In traditional astrology, Venus presides over refinement and social cohesion, whether that's in personal relationships or public spaces. She's the oil in the gears of civilization.
Cherry, what does William Lilly say about Venusian professions?
Lilly attributes Venus to musicians, dancers, perfumers, linen drapers, jewelers, tailors, embroiderers, picture drawers, sempsters, wives, virgins, and those who sell goods that beautify women, like complexion waters and fine fabrics.
So basically, if it shimmers, smells amazing, or sounds beautiful, Venus is probably involved.
And she clearly rules the self-care aisle.
Indeed, Venus doesn't just seduce, she elevates. Through beauty, art, and affection, she teaches us how to love life itself. And now, let's look at how her power changes depending on where she lands in the sky, onto her dignities and debilities. Alright team, let's dive into Venus's celestial real estate. Clara, guide us through the signs where Venus reigns supreme.
With pleasure. Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and she's exalted in Pisces. These signs give Venus the ideal environment to express her temperament, moist, moderately warm, and oriented toward beauty, comfort, and harmony.
By the beauty of equilibrium, yes. Start with Taurus. Think mid-spring. The world is lush, sensual, full of blossoms and birdsong. Venus here is earthy, tactile, and indulgent. She delights in the senses.
And Libra? That seems less about touch and more about thinking?
Exactly. Libra brings out Venus's love for balance, justice, diplomacy, and the art of negotiation. It's not raw sensuality, it's refined elegance. Venus in Libra doesn't just crave beauty, she curates it.
So Taurus is pleasure through the body, and Libra is pleasure through the mind?
That's a fair way to put it. And then there's her exaltation, Pisces.
Ah, Venus in Pisces, the dreamer. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, so it lends Venus an expansive, spiritual quality. It's not just romance here, it's devotion, sacrifice, transcendent love. Think poetry, soulmates, divine longing.
Alright, Arlo, I'll admit, Venus in Pisces sounds magical. But what about the tough placements? Where does she struggle?
She's in detriment in Aries and Scorpio, the Mars-ruled signs, directly opposite her homes.
And there's the drama. Venus wants to unite. Mars wants to conquer. In Aries, Venus is too pushy. In Scorpio, she simmers in secrecy and intensity. Neither sign gives her the light, relaxed touch she's most at home with.
Scorpio is my rising sign, and I've got Venus there. So are we doomed to emotional power plays?
Not doomed, but challenged. Venus in Scorpio can love fiercely, but but also struggle with control, jealousy, or trust. It's deep-water love, not champagne and roses.
Sounds like passion with a side of turbulence. And what about her fall in Virgo?
Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's analytical, precise, and often self-critical. Venus in Virgo might overthink emotions or try to tidy up messy feelings. The romantic poet becomes the editor.
Exactly. In Pisces, Venus sings. In Virgo, she checks the lyrics for grammar.
Poor Venus. So if she's in fall or detriment in someone's chart, is it a red flag?
Not so fast. It depends on context. House placement, aspects, solar phase, and especially sect, all matters.
And Venus belongs to the nocturnal sect. That means she's generally stronger in night charts, right?
Spot on, Clara. The cool, moist night amplifies her gifts. We'll get into sect mechanics more in a future episode, but yes, in a night chart, Venus gets to be her best self.
Alright then, I'm officially curious. What exactly does Venus bring to someone's character in a birth chart?
Ah, that's where the real story begins. Let's find out next. Let's talk about Venus in the birth chart. When she's dignified and personally significant, like ruling the ascendant or sitting in an angular house, she gives people a kind of glow. These folks tend to be magnetic, charming, graceful, the type who light up a room without even trying.
So Venus is just your personal fairy godmother? Come on, Arlo. Not everyone with a strong Venus becomes a crowd favorite.
By the harmony of the seven spheres. Ella, I never said it's guaranteed, but when Venus is in good condition, she definitely tilts things toward beauty, connection, and delight, whether it's a flair for fashion, a knack for social ease, or just knowing how to enjoy life.
And what does our go-to traditional source William Lilly have to say about all this charm and delight?
Cherry, care to give us Lily's take?
Lilly writes, Venus signifies a quiet man, not given to law, quarrel or wrangling. Loving mirth in his words and actions. Clean in apparel, rather drinking much than gluttonous, prone to venery, often entangled in love matters. Cheerful, nothing mistrustful, a right virtuous man or woman, often had in some jealousy, yet no cause for it.
That paints quite a detailed picture, but does Venus always reflect someone's personality directly?
Only if she's in a position of prominence, like ruling the chart or sitting in the 1st or 10th house. Otherwise, she might show up through others in your life. A graceful sibling, a charming friend, even a partner who brings sweetness or trouble, depending on her condition.
So if Venus is strong, the person may attract Venusian people? Interesting. That could explain some dynamics I've seen in charts.
Okay, so far she sounds like the darling of the zodiac. But Arlo, you did promise us the full picture. What happens when Venus is, let's say, less than elegant?
Ah, Ella always keeping us balanced. Cherry, what does Lily say when Venus is poorly placed?
Lilly says, then the man is riotous, expensive, wholly given to looseness and lewd companies. A mere skipjack, of no faith, no repute. Spending his means in alehouses, taverns, and amongst scandalous, loose people. A lazy companion, not caring for life or religion.
So Venus's qualities can become self-indulgent and even destructive when unchecked. That's a big shift from the earlier description.
Exactly. Pleasure, charm, leisure, they're beautiful in balance. But when Venus is afflicted, that pursuit of beauty can turn into obsession, laziness, vanity, or falling into escapism and unhealthy desires.
So Venus might lure someone into trouble with softness rather than sharpness. That's a different kind of danger.
And not necessarily obvious. A troubled Venus could look lovely on the outside, until you realize it's masking emotional dependency or addictive behaviors.
Right you are, Katrina. A spoiled Venus can dress up dysfunction in silk and perfume. But at the core, it's still in balance.
Arlo, I really like the examples you shared in the Mars episode. Could we do something similar for Venus?
Absolutely, Clara. Let's look at how Venus shows up in real lives. That's up next. Alright team, time for some real-life Venus magic. First up, Venus in Cancer in the 1st house. Ella, take the spotlight.
Oh, Venus in Cancer? That's such a nurturing and sentimental combo. It probably gives off that warm, gentle magnetism, emotional expressiveness, maybe even a talent for the arts. In the 1st house, That's classic for someone whose presence is charming and emotionally resonant. I'm guessing, an actress?
Venus and Cancer definitely share moist qualities, so the placement amplifies emotional sensitivity and public appeal. First house adds visibility. This person likely draws attention through appearance or personal charisma. Who is it?
By the beauty of equilibrium, Judy Garland, the powerhouse behind Over the Rainbow, born June 10, 1922. Venus in Cancer rising, an actress, singer, and timeless symbol of longing and vulnerability. Her voice had that emotional pull that could just wrap around you.
That actually fits. Cancer makes everything feel personal and deep, and Garland's performances always felt like they came from the heart.
She really was enchanting. A perfect Venus in Cancer signature.
Okay, moving on. Venus in Leo in the 8th house. Katrina, your turn.
Venus in Leo is all about radiance, pride, and a love of admiration. In the 8th, that's interesting. Could be someone who turns power or legacy into art, maybe someone tied to wealth or transformation through their aesthetic vision.
Or someone who creates lasting impact through shared resources. 8th house themes. Venus here could mean charm in taboo subjects, or influence over others' values.
Sounds like someone bold and refined, someone with style and substance.
Exactly the impression she left. The chart belongs to none other than Coco Chanel, born August 19, 1883. Venus in Leo in the 8th, fashion royalty with an empire built from elegance, mystery, and reinvention. Chanel No. 5, the little black dress, the interlocked C's, all signature Venus-Leo brilliance, delivered from the shadows of the 8th house.
Wow! That house placement really fits. She transformed fashion and culture from behind the scenes, but her name still shines.
And she redefined feminine beauty standards. Venus in Leo with staying power.
Indeed, Venus isn't just love and beauty, it is influence, magnetism, and creative command. Now, let's turn to Venus's other significations across the astrological landscape.
I'm wondering, beyond the love and beauty stuff, what parts of the body does Venus actually rule?
By the sweetness of copper and roses, what a Venusian question. In traditional astrology, Venus governs the neck and throat, thanks to her rulership of Taurus. And through Libra, she's tied to the hips, buttocks, and kidneys. Basically, she rules over parts of the body that deal with balance, voice, beauty, and, well, comfort.
And don't forget, Valens even mentions Venus ruling olives. Plus, he describes her as having a greasy taste. It sounds strange until you remember how central olive oil was to ancient life. Luxurious, nourishing, and, frankly, a bit indulgent.
So she's literally the goddess of charcuterie boards and bath oils?
Exactly. Venus represents the phlegmatic temperament, cool, moist, gentle. She's calm, comforting, and drawn to life's pleasures. A quiet dinner, a soft melody, a beautiful scarf, Venus all the way.
Wait, doesn't Venus also rule a metal? I think it's copper.
Right you are, Katrina. Copper is shiny, malleable, and used in art and beauty. Think of copper bracelets, decorative mirrors, and early coinage. Venus governs things that delight the eye and soothe the senses.
I bet Friday's her day, right? Everyone's softer on Fridays.
Yes. Venus rules Friday. I always thought it was poetic that the day people dress up, go out, or unwind after the week is literally Venus's day.
And she reigns for 82 years in traditional longevity techniques. Her cycle is long and lush, just like her pleasures.
Okay, I'm officially convinced Venus is more than hearts and roses. What a rich planet.
Glad you think so, Ella. Clara, could you wrap up our segment with a quick summary?
Certainly, Venus is the lesser benefic, moderately hot and moist, and reflects the phlegmatic temperament, calm, artistic, and affectionate. She rules beauty, pleasure, affection, music, adornment, and creative vocations, from musicians and jewelers to tailors and painters. She governs copper, Fridays, and her greater years are 82. When strong in a chart, Venus often points to charm, grace, and a natural talent for love, aesthetics, or diplomacy.
By the glimmer of polished copper, that was perfect, Clara.
So, what's next in the Venusian adventure?
A birth chart, of course. One more gem for our collection of examples.
Ooh, a mystery chart. I love it. Who is it this time?
By the brilliance of the heavens, Today's chart is a personal favorite. We're diving into the life and sky of none other than Nicolaus Copernicus.
Copernicus, the man who dared to say the sun, not the earth, was at the center? I'm already intrigued.
His insights were revolutionary, but they weren't exactly embraced at the time. He published only near the end of his life.
Indeed. Cherry, can you grab his birth data from Astrodatabank?
Confirmed. Copernicus was born February 19, 1473, at 5:13 p.m., Julian calendar, in Torun, Poland. Rodin rating, AA.
AA rating? That's as reliable as it gets. Was it recorded by astrologers?
Yes. Source is listed as astrologers present at the birth.
Astrologers attending births? Imagine how detailed their notes must have been.
Back when the stars weren't just symbolic, they were state-sanctioned advisors. Let's cast the chart, whole sign houses as always.
Generating the chart now.
Virgo rising, Sun and Mercury in Pisces, Saturn in Gemini, 10th house. Ella, initial thoughts?
Virgo rising says precision, detail. But Mercury in Pisces? That's intuitive, dreamy, almost poetic. And Saturn in Gemini in the 10th? Career obstacles, but also intellectual mastery under pressure.
By the blazing constellations, yes, that Saturn reflects his struggle to publish his heliocentric model, decades in the making.
Should we check the chart sect? The sun is low, but close to setting.
Good eye, Clara. It's within 6 degrees of the horizon, civil twilight range. I checked the Ferdaria sequence earlier. It fits a nocturnal chart, so we're treating it as such.
What are the exact angles, Cherry?
Ascendant is 7 degrees and 2 minutes Virgo. Midheaven is 28 degrees and 55 minutes Taurus.
Great, let's get the planetary layout by whole sign houses.
Saturn, 18 degrees and 36 minutes Gemini, 10th house. Jupiter, 4 degrees and 33 minutes Sagittarius, 4th house. Mars, 21 degrees and 43 minutes Aquarius, 6th house. Sun, 10 degrees and 11 minutes Pisces, 7th house. Venus, 7 degrees and 10 minutes Aries, 8th house. Mercury, 26 degrees and 30 minutes Pisces, 7th house. Moon, 5 degrees and 32 minutes Sagittarius, 4th house.
That Moon-Jupiter conjunction in Sagittarius is beautiful. A strong signature for philosophy, astronomy, and expansive vision.
Cherry, can you pull the nodal positions and part of fortune?
North Node, 24 degrees and 40 minutes Scorpio, 3rd house. South Node, 24 degrees and 40 minutes Taurus, 9th house. Part of Fortune, 2 degrees and 22 minutes Gemini, 10th house.
Brilliant placements. That 10th house part of fortune really stands out. In our next episode, we'll trace how Copernicus's life echoed through the heavens.
If you enjoyed this stellar case study, drop your Venus sign in the comments, and we might feature it in a future episode.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep your cosmic curiosity burning bright. Until next time.
Bye.
Transmission complete. See you next time.